Hello everybody, my name is Peyton Ricardo Rehack, and today I will be giving my tribute speech about my dad. My dad was born on June 28th, 1974 in Atlanta, Georgia, and then shortly after that he moved to Ohio, which is where he grew up, and that's where all my family on his side lives. My dad was very active growing up, played a lot of sports. He's really into volleyball and basketball. I grew up going to all his basketball games on Monday nights, and every once in a while I'll go and play volleyball with him at the open gym that he goes to. My dad is very hardworking. He's always worked. His first job was at a horse stable, and he would do the hay and all that. Right now he works for a company called PD Play, which is where he builds playgrounds for military bases. He travels a lot of places. Right now he is in Louisiana. He's been to Hawaii, Florida, Utah, Arizona, all kinds of places. He's very determined, so when he wants something done, he's going to get it done. He doesn't like to pay for things that he can do on his own. He fixes his own car, builds his own things, cleans the house, all that stuff. He's very, very hardworking, super caring. He has never been married, and so I'm really like the only girl in his life besides his mom and all that, but he takes really good care of the people that he loves. And that's it's super cool, and I hope that I'll be able to do that for my family one day. And the last thing is that he is super duper responsible. Make sure everything's done on time, make sure it's done right. He always texts me being like, hey, did you call grandma and grandpa? And I'll be like, no, but I will. My parents are divorced, and so I lived with my mom until I was 8 years old, and then I moved with him. He lives in Poway now. When I was 8 years old, and at that age I think he had a huge impact on my life and the way that I work, because he would make sure that I was on top of school. He would always make sure I was super active, wasn't allowed to go sit at home and play video games. He made sure I went outside and got all that. When I got home from school, he would say, all right, you're gonna start your homework in an hour. So I'd get like an hour break after school, and then I would sit down and do the homework, and I wasn't allowed to do anything else until my homework was done. And I think this has really helped me a lot with time management and self-control. So now that I don't live with him, I have the ability to sit down and do my homework until it's finished and not go and off and get sidetracked. And then when I would get good grades, I would get rewarded for it. So I remember one time I got a 4.0 for the first time, so I got a longboard because I like skateboarding and all that. And whenever I didn't get a good grade, my dad would always tell me, he'd be like, well, and I'd be like, Dad, but nobody else got a high score. I was actually pretty good. And he's like, well, it doesn't matter what everybody else got, it's matter what you got. You could have done better. And now that I look back on it, I was like, that's so true, because even though other kids didn't get it, if I would have studied a little harder, I probably could have gotten it. Another thing is he wouldn't really let me miss school when I was younger. I would have to show him that I was actually sick in order for him to let me miss school. And now that I'm in college, I don't miss school because I think it's super important. Like I said, now I have the ability to sit down and do my homework. I also have the ability, I like to reward myself when I get a good grade or go and do something. I'll go out and buy myself something. Obviously I don't have too much money, so it's not something big. I make sure all my things are done before I make sure all my homework's done before I go out and do something. And I try not to miss school, because it's just super hard to catch up, and why make it that much more difficult on yourself. My dad, super amazing dad, puts people before himself and is super caring. He has just had the biggest influence on my life, and I wish that I can be as determined and responsible as I am when I'm older, as he is. And basically, like, he does everything he can for everybody else, and he puts himself last. And that is why my dad is my hero. Thank you for listening.